At 11:48 p.m., Iris Bellamy accepted the last warm room at Pineglass Lodge while a blizzard erased the mountain highway outside. She was 28, exhausted, and still wearing the wine-red dress from a failed investor dinner. The desk clerk handed her a brass room key and said 6 more travelers had already been turned away. From the second-floor window, Iris saw an old station wagon beneath the parking lot lamp. Snow covered half its windshield. Inside, a young man had wrapped his coat around a sleeping little girl. A silver emergency blanket covered his shoulders. The engine was off. Iris went back downstairs and crossed the lot in borrowed boots. The man lowered the window 1 inch. "The room is yours," Alden Pike said before she could speak. "My daughter is warm enough." Then Iris noticed a folded hotel key sleeve shaped like a tiny house in the child's hand. The desk clerk had not told her the whole truth. Alden had held a confirmed room hours earlier. He gave it to an elderly couple stranded without heat. Iris looked at the brass key in her palm and understood that the last room had never belonged to the person who could afford it most. Before we continue, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Alden Pike left Greyhaven before sunrise with everything he and his daughter needed for a new beginning packed below the windows of a faded blue station wagon. At 29, Alden was a licensed building controls technician. He repaired the quiet systems that made public buildings livable: heat pumps, air sensors, backup controllers, and the stubborn wiring hidden behind clean walls. He had accepted a new position maintaining clinics and schools in the mountain county north of Greyhaven. His 6-year-old daughter, Mina, sat behind him in a yellow knit hat, reading road signs aloud until the letters disappeared behind snow. Alden was not homeless. The station wagon only looked like a life reduced to boxes, because that was exactly what moving looked like. Their furniture waited in storage. Their new apartment lease started Monday. Pineglass Lodge was supposed to be one safe night between the old address and the new one. He had booked room 214 3 weeks earlier. By 4 in the afternoon, the blizzard closed High Ridge Pass. Cars crawled toward Pineglass Lodge, a cedar-and-stone hotel beside the only fuel station for 30 miles. 2 miles from the lodge, Alden saw a white sedan angled into a snowbank. An elderly couple stood beside it, their hazard lights fading. He secured Mina inside his warm car, attached a tow strap, and helped pull the sedan back onto the road. The older man's hands shook even after the heater started. His wife carried a portable oxygen concentrator with 1 battery light remaining. At Pineglass, the lobby was already full. The desk clerk found Alden's reservation and slid a brass key across the counter. Then the elderly woman began coughing behind him. Alden looked at Mina. She looked at the key sleeve, then at the couple. "We have blankets," she said. Alden gave the couple room 214. The desk clerk promised to call if anything opened. Alden folded the empty paper key sleeve into a small house for Mina and returned to the station wagon before the snow deepened. The hotel's final unoccupied room was not listed for sale. It was the owner's suite, held automatically for Iris Bellamy. Iris had spent the day at a lender meeting for Bellamy Lodging, the regional hotel company she had led since she was 25. Pineglass was its newest acquisition and its smallest property. The meeting ended badly when investors demanded closures at 3 rural hotels to improve margins before refinancing. Iris refused, drove north to inspect Pineglass herself, and reached the lodge minutes before state police blocked the access road. She was 28 and visibly unlike the older men who usually ran hotel groups. She had an original, softly rounded, heart-shaped face, dark green eyes, warm, fair skin, a short, straight nose, and thick espresso brown hair pulled into a sleek, high ponytail. Her fitted wine-red ribbed midi dress and cream-belted wool coat looked elegant, adult, and expensive without resembling a costume. The desk clerk offered the owner's suite. "Is anyone still without a room?" Iris asked. "Everyone inside is placed." The answer was technically true. Iris accepted the key. checked 3 maintenance reports in the elevator, and removed her heels inside the suite. She had been awake since 5. She wanted 10 minutes without a board member explaining how compassion damaged margins. Then she looked through the window. The blue station wagon sat at the far edge of the lot, with its engine off to conserve fuel. A young man leaned against the driver's door, his winter coat wrapped around a child asleep across the back seat. Iris called the front desk. "Who is in the car?" Silence answered first. The desk clerk explained the reservation, the elderly couple, and Alden's decision. Iris picked up the brass key and went downstairs. The hotel had no spare winter boots in her size. The night porter gave her a pair 2 sizes too large. Snow entered over the tops as she crossed the lot. Alden lowered the window only far enough to hear her. He was 29, with a distinctive long oval face, moss-green eyes, dark ash-brown curls flattened on one side by snow, and close stubble along a defined jaw. Even folded behind the steering wheel, he looked tall and attractively athletic, with broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and strong hands marked by electrical work. "You need to bring her inside," Iris said. "The lobby is full." She held up the key. "The owner's suite is not." Alden looked at her wet coat and oversized boots. "And where will you sleep? In the office? That is not a fair trade. Neither is a warm room sitting empty while a child sleeps in a car." Mina stirred beneath Alden's coat. The tiny folded key-sleeve house rested against her mitten. Alden opened the door. At that exact moment, every light in Pine Glass Lodge went dark. The emergency lights came on 3 seconds later. Inside the lodge, people stopped talking. Wind pressed snow against the lobby windows, and the elevator settled with a soft mechanical thud between floors. Alden lifted Mina from the back seat and carried her inside. Iris guided them through the dark lobby while the night porter checked the stairwell. The backup generator started behind the building, but the main heating pumps did not restart. Cold air began moving through the vents. Iris called the property manager, who was trapped 20 miles away. The manager said the building controls contractor could not reach Pine Glass until the highway reopened. Alden listened from the foot of the stairs. "What controller does the hotel use?" he asked. The night porter named the model. Alden closed his eyes for half a second. It was the same system he had maintained for 5 years at a hospital complex. "I can diagnose it," he said, "but I will not touch live equipment without the porter present and the remote contractor authorizing each step." Iris did not ask him to be a hero. She put the hotel's contractor on speaker, documented consent, and stayed beside the electrical room door while Alden worked with the porter. The generator was healthy. A frozen outside air damper had triggered a safety lockout after power returned. The lockout was supposed to protect the heating coils. Because a small cold weather sensor had not been installed during the acquisition renovation, the system could not tell the difference between a dangerous fault and a damper packed with snow. The contractor guided the porter through isolation, while Alden cleared the intake from the outside service platform. Iris held the safety line around his waist from inside the doorway. Snow struck his face. His fitted dark pine thermal shirt clung damply beneath a caramel canvas jacket, but his movements stayed controlled. "You can come back in," Iris called. 30 seconds. That is what people say before they make someone else regret trusting them. Alden looked over his shoulder. The fear in her voice was not executive impatience. It was personal. He came inside. The porter cleared the remaining ice. The remote contractor reset the system. Warm air returned through the lobby vents 12 minutes later. No one applauded. Parents settled children on couches. Staff passed out towels and hot water. Pine Glass became what a hotel was supposed to be before it became an investment. Mina woke in the owner's suite and discovered that Iris had placed her folded paper house beside the lamp. "Are you the owner?" Mina asked. "One of them." "Then why are you sleeping in the office?" Iris glanced at Alden. "Because owners should be the last people who run out of choices." The words surprised her. At 2 in the morning, Iris and Alden sat at opposite ends of the lobby fireplace while Mina slept upstairs. Iris had changed from her wet coat into a fitted charcoal sweater borrowed from the hotel shop over her wine-red dress. Alden wore a dry navy work shirt the porter found in lost property. Their attraction grew in ordinary details. Iris noticed that Alden checked the stairwell every time the wind changed. Alden noticed that she carried mugs to guests without asking staff to do it. Neither mistook exhaustion for intimacy. Iris told him why the owner's suite existed. Her mother had managed a 20-room motel when Iris was a child. During one brutal winter, she let stranded families stay without payment. The bank still took the motel in spring. Iris learned the wrong lesson with great discipline. Generosity without rules could destroy the place trying to help. Years later, she built Bellamy Lodging around reserves, occupancy targets, and rooms protected for executives who might need to reach isolated properties. "I thought I was protecting the business," she said. Alden looked toward the full lobby. A room protected from people can forget why it exists. She accepted that without defense. He told her he was moving north for a building controls position, serving public clinics and schools. He had brought Mina because his sister became ill the morning before they left, and delaying would have cost the apartment deposit and his first week of work. "You could have kept your reservation," Iris said. The couple needed electricity for her oxygen concentrator. "You did not know another room would appear." "It did not?" His answer held no accusation. That made it harder to forget. At dawn, the corporate risk director called Iris. The highway remained closed, but the company's insurer wanted every unregistered lobby guest removed from sleeping areas because they exceeded normal occupancy. "Removed to where?" Iris asked. "Their vehicles until the road opens." Iris looked at the snow-covered parking lot. The old version of her would have searched for a policy exception. The woman holding a paper house in her hand did not. "No one goes outside," she said. "Send me the clause you think requires it. I will send you the emergency authority that overrides it." The risk director warned that she was creating liability. "The liability is already in the parking lot," Iris said. "It is called winter." After the call, the lender from yesterday left a message. If Iris turned Pine Glass into free emergency shelter, the refinancing committee would reconsider her judgment. Alden saw the message light her screen, but did not ask what it said. Iris deleted it without listening twice. The highway reopened shortly after noon. Hotel staff dug paths between cars, while state crews cleared the pass. Registered guests left first. Stranded families returned borrowed blankets and folded the lobby cots against the wall. Iris did not make a speech. She stood behind the desk and helped the night clerk document every person who had sheltered inside. Bellamy Lodging covered the extra meals, staff overtime, and emergency cleaning. Iris paid for none of it through a publicity fund. She recorded the costs as winter operations. The elderly couple from room 214 found Alden before leaving. The woman hugged him carefully around her oxygen bag. Her husband tried to offer cash. Alden refused. Mina accepted one peppermint. Iris watched from the desk, then returned Alden's original room charge to his card without turning it into a gift. He had paid for a room and given it away. The refund was simply honest accounting. Before he left, she handed him the folded key-sleeve house. "Your daughter made this. She makes buildings when she is nervous." "Do they usually survive?" "She keeps improving the roof." Iris smiled. "That sounds familiar." Their hands touched around the small paper house. Attraction moved between them, warm and unmistakable. But the parking lot was not the place to turn rescue into romance. "Get her home," Iris said. "We do not have one until Monday." "Then get her to the place that will be home." Alden reached his new town before dark. His employer delayed orientation without penalty after the county confirmed the road closure. He started work Tuesday and spent his first week restoring heat controls at a rural clinic. Iris returned to the city and faced her board. She did not propose unlimited free rooms. She proposed a winter refuge standard built to survive both storms and audits. Every rural Bellamy property would keep 2 emergency rooms outside executive inventory when severe weather warnings were active. Lobbies would stock cots, blankets, sealed food, child supplies, oxygen-compatible outlets, and clear occupancy procedures. Local managers could shelter stranded travelers without waiting for a corporate waiver. Maintenance budgets would include cold weather sensor checks before winter. The board asked what the program would cost. Iris showed them. Then she showed them the cost of 1 preventable death in a company parking lot. The policy passed by 1 vote. The refinancing committee did not reward her. It reduced the available credit line and demanded quarterly reporting. Iris accepted the condition and sold a planned city property instead of closing the 3 rural hotels. Pineglass remained open. 2 months later, Alden returned as part of a competitive building controls contract awarded to his new employer. Iris had removed herself from the selection committee before bids opened. He found her in the Pineglass mechanical room wearing fitted black trousers, a cream-ribbed sweater, a short burgundy wool jacket, and practical brown boots. Her espresso hair fell in a thick, low ponytail. She looked polished, young, and completely real beside exposed pipes. "The new freeze sensor is installed," Alden said. "Does it have opinions about executive suites?" "Only temperature." Their professional work lasted 3 weeks. They kept every conversation clean while he was on the contract. Iris never asked him to stay late alone. Alden never treated her guilt as leverage. On the final inspection day, the county engineer signed the system release and Alden's company closed the project. Iris met him outside the lodge with 2 paper cups of coffee. "This is not a site meeting," she said. "No clipboard? I left it inside. Then it may be a date. That was my professional assessment." They drove to a small diner below the pass. Iris wore a fitted dark green knit dress beneath her winter coat. Alden wore a charcoal Henley and the same caramel canvas jacket from the storm, now repaired at 1 cuff. Their chemistry was adult, restrained, and easier without a crisis between them. Mina approved slowly. She did not need a replacement mother. She needed adults who kept promises small enough to keep. Iris began with Saturday pancakes. By the next winter, the Pineglass refuge policy had been used 11 times across 4 properties. No social media campaign announced the number. The company's occupancy reports included it beside every other operating measure. During the first major storm of the season, Iris returned to Pineglass with Alden and Mina. The owner's suite was empty, not reserved for Iris, reserved for whoever needed it next. In the lobby, 2 families slept on proper cots while staff served soup. A charging station powered medical equipment. The heating dashboard stayed steady. Mina sat near the fireplace folding a fresh key sleeve into another small house. She placed it beside the first one, now protected in a simple glass case with no grand plaque. Alden stood behind Iris and rested one hand lightly at her waist. She leaned back against him, comfortable with the affection and with the crowded lobby around them. Outside, snow covered the parking lot. No engines were running. No child was sleeping in a car, and the last warm room belonged to the person who needed it most.